Chris Chan's preliminary hearing is scheduled to take place on September 16th. As has previously been reported, recording devices are not allowed in courtrooms in Greene County. At the moment, there are no COVID restrictions that would prevent the public from watching the proceedings. What that means for us is that the hearing will likely be spread via word of mouth from witnesses shortly after it ends. After that, short summary articles will be released by local newspapers and journalists who are interested in the case. And then finally, perhaps days later, the public will be granted access to the court's transcript. So basically, the more time passes, the closer we'll get to an accurate and full report of what will happen. I'm sure many people will be hungry for any scrap of detail that there is until that time, so this is my common sense warning. Don't believe everything you see being posted on Twitter. And now to report on something that I saw posted on Twitter. Twitter user Winfield recently went to the Chandler household to deliver a book that he had written to Chris Chan. The book is called Cult of the Eclipse, and apparently Chris had agreed to read it several months ago. Now that it's finished and available on Amazon, Winfield is delivering Chris's personal copy to him. He obviously knew Chris wasn't home and is actually planning on stopping by the local jail, but he wanted to visit the house first. From his pictures, we can see that Chris's car is back in his driveway. It's previously been reported and posted on the Quickie that the car was back with new license plates, but the Quickie is currently down and there is never any telling when it'll come back up. People were using the presence of the car to try to prove that Barb had returned home. This would mean that the hospital has deemed her lucid enough to provide for herself, which of course has drastic implications for further charges on Chris. I personally think that that is too much of an assumption to make from just the car's presence. Barb could have been delivered to family members who are now staying at the house with her. It's also possible that the car was taken by these family members and that Barb is still in the government's care. If she was deemed perfectly lucid, then it's unclear why she also wouldn't be charged with incest. Maybe she will be, but speculation this close to Chris's hearing is a waste of time. This sentiment is mirrored by Chris's lawyer. The county assigned David Heilberg to defend Chris in his case, and the lawyer gave a statement to the public in mid-August. There are few people with actual personal knowledge of what happened. Just because you heard or read something does not make it true. These sentences could have a few different meanings. For one, Heilberg could just be stating that the wild game of internet telephone that happens whenever people cover a story might have created misinformation on Chris's case. He could just be saying that people shouldn't believe everything they read or hear. But he could also mean that you shouldn't trust what you heard on the leaked audio recording. Bella, the troll who captured the audio, has admitted to tampering with the audio and changing the order of some of the sentences. Obviously, the audio seems fairly convincing, but Heilberg cites over and over how mentally unwell Chris is, which could throw into doubt some of his own claims on the audio. Mrs. Chandler's frequent and sometimes over-the-top presence on the internet is partly a product of mental health issues causing misguided attention-seeking and, often, provocative engagement with others. Once again, this could say nothing, or it could say everything. If we're talking about Christery in general, then yes, it's very obvious that Chris has misguided attention-seeking tendencies, and that people troll him to try to get a rise out of him. But if this sentence is applied to this very specific case, then you could read into it that Chris's words on the leaked audio were him being attention-seeking, perhaps him being pushed by others. This was, of course, a very early theory that many people, myself included, mentioned as to how Chris might be innocent. But a lawyer isn't going to drop vague hints in a press interview before a hearing, so I think reading into his phrasing is useless, especially when it's been removed from context by a journalist at Newsweek who's inserting the quotes randomly in the middle of an article. As with everything in life, my philosophy is innocent until proven guilty. This unfortunately creates the tendency in my mind to make conspiracy theories about how Chris might be innocent by linking together disparate pieces of data that don't actually fit together. So maybe a better philosophy this time would be, we have literally no idea what's happening until proven guilty. It's a superposition verdict. He's Quantum Chris Chan. I think he would like that name if he ever gets out. I'll be quoting and retweeting news as it breaks, and also probably posting as normal over on my Twitter, at GiBi_Devin, and I'll make an update video after the hearing. Until then, it will be my regularly scheduled programming, which means a big video is coming about Sad World. I just don't know when it'll be done.